Whilst technical ability, athleticism and physicality are all crucial to reaching the highest levels of the game, it's actually a player's reading of the game which will ultimately separate them from the rest. Even a player who's less talented technically or not as powerful athletically than another player in the same position can surpass them if their vision, awareness and overall reading of the game is superior. And in this video we'll be breaking down how to read the game. First things first, whatever position you play on the pitch, reading the game is essential, and so I'll be analysing both the offensive and defensive sides of the game and how to apply and improve this attribute. Reading of the game can be generally broken down into 4 categories that you need to understand in relation to your own position on the pitch: the ball, your teammates, open space and the opponents. Now the position of the ball is obviously fundamental, as that will dictate not only where you should be positioned, but also where the opposition will be positioned, and then where the space can then be created. But simply just moving into space when you see it is just not ideal. You also need to factor in the position of your teammates as well as the opposition, which will then allow you to understand how you should move in order to create the best defensive opportunity for your side. From a defensive point of view, the position of your opponent and your teammates is arguably even more crucial, as in an organised defensive shape, limiting space for the opposition is fundamental to a coherent defensive setup, and when we analyse how Thiago Silva does this in the centre-back position, you'll be able to see this clearly. But in possession, when it comes to improving your game, Sergio Busquets is one of the best examples of all time. Playing in a deeper midfield area for Barcelona, Busquets was required to link the defensive and midfield lines, with his reading of the game being a crucial aspect to doing this, and Busquets, like Pirlo and Xabi Alonso, mastered this role effectively by using quick scans over their shoulders to gain a vivid picture in their head of where their teammates and the opposition players around them were positioned, to then be able to take advantage of the space that opens up, or even looking to shift their body positioning to open up a passing lane so they can receive the ball themselves. And here we can see as Busquets receives a pass in the centre of the pitch that Real Madrid are defending in a midfield diamond, but as the player at the top of the diamond applies pressure to Busquets, because the Barcelona man has already scanned ahead before he's even received the ball, he knows that the Real Madrid midfield 3 behind the oncoming pressing player are significantly deeper, and so if Busquets can get past Isco, he then has a massive amount of space to carry the ball into. But in order to take advantage of this space after he's read the game, he's going to add some disguise to his turn, shaping as if he's going to play the pass backwards, but as Isco commits, he swivels quickly and can then drive into that space that Isco has vacated. But whilst the fluid turn will take all the plaudits, it was his reading of the game via checking over his shoulder that allowed him to see that space in the first place. If you put another player in this position who even has more technical ability and more athletic ability, even though they may be able to beat Isco and drive into the space a lot quicker, they may not be able to even read it in the first place in the way that Busquets does, proving my point that reading of the game in many scenarios trumps sheer athletic and technical ability. So that was an example of how being able to read the game can give you a huge benefit in possession. But what about from the defensive point of view? Well, here we can see in a Champions League game between Juventus and Chelsea that Juventus have the ball in the Chelsea half, and initially Alvaro Morata, the Juventus striker, manages to get goal side of Thiago Silva. And so when the dink pass goes over Thiago Silva's head, he's not able to recover in time to close off that space. But Thiago Silva's able to read the game so well, he realises he's never going to be able to catch up with Morata to stop him actually taking the shot, and so instead he anticipates the lob over Edouard Mendy, deciding to pull off from the Juventus striker instead of putting him under pressure. And so this means that when Morata does go for the lob over the keeper, Thiago Silva, because he hasn't gotten tight to Morata and followed him towards the keeper, he's now in a position to anticipate the lob, but most crucially he's now in a position to get back and clear the ball before it bounces over the line, something he wouldn't have been able to do if he had followed Morata tightly and tried to stop him getting the shot away in the first place. His reading of the game told him that it was too late to stop Morata and get goal side, and so instead, by not applying pressure to the striker and looking to clear the shot instead, he's able to stop the goal when he probably wouldn't have been able to if he had done the alternative, which a lot of centre-backs would have done. And so ultimately, without Thiago Silva's elite level reading of the game, his initial positional mistake probably would have led to a Juventus goal. And so from these examples, both in possession with Busquets and defensively with Thiago Silva, we can see that in order to develop your ability to read the game, you need to be constantly checking your shoulder to give you a full view of what's happening around you. Wherefrom you then need to be able to take into account the position of the ball, your teammates and the opposition players around you, as well as your own position, to then allow you to make a calculated decision as to what is best for you to do next, in order to either take advantage of space as Busquets did, or get back into a position where the space is or where the ball is going to go, to make a clearance as Thiago Silva did. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video, check out some of our others, and also subscribe to the channel and click the bell so you do get notified when our videos come out.